Hey, what's going on? It's Saturday afternoon. It's your girl, Kay Renee, and I am here, and I am with one of the CEO executives for FUBU, and his name is Carl. Carl, welcome to the Kay Renee Show today.
How you doing, Kay?
I'm good. I can't complain. I'm glad we finally sprung into spring. Mm-hmm. It's warm, but it's, off and on rain, but I can deal with that. I'm from Seattle, so I'm used to rain.
You're used to all it is.
Yes, I am, but I sure would like to see the sun, though. I want to see that come out.
It's due.
It is due. Yeah, we've been waiting for it for, how long? Since spring started?
Long enough. It's been a long one.
Yeah, March. Yes, it is now
so
May.
I don't want to hear anybody complain about it's too hot outside.
Me neither. Yes. I'll take the heat. I think it's easier to cool down.
Right.
And as opposed to being cold and then try to warm up.
Yeah, this whole winter had me thinking about my whole life, talking about maybe this is not the right place for me.
Oh, really? I thought that years ago when I moved here, but I was like, let me just go ahead and rock with it and just keep on pursuing what I need to do in life. And
well, it looks like you're doing it.
I'm trying every day. I'm trying to do the best I can and take off with this career. So I'm just happy to be here to talk to you today.
Okay.
I am wanting to know a little bit of a background so I can tell my listeners, you can tell my listeners, and people who are not familiar with FUBU and who you are behind the scenes, on the scene, and what it is that you do. So I know you helped create pretty much the line for the jerseys, jeans, outerwear for urban youth. And I want to know what inspired you to get involved with fashion.
Well, to go all the way back, my parents, they owned two millinery shops, meaning they sold dress hats and headwear for mostly women in Queens. So I started retail working in my mother's stores. She owned two, one in Brooklyn and one in Queens, so I shuttled back and forth doing whatever she needed me to do.
Okay.
So in that business, I got to learn about dealing with designers and ordering for seasons and things like that. So that kind of gave me my first introduction to the fashion business. Once I left there, I actually hated the business. Working with your parents ain't easy.
No.
I'm in high school, so it wasn't by choice. I was kind of forced into the business. So once I left there, I kind of didn't want anything to do with fashion. And so I went on my way and did a whole bunch of other things. But me and Damon, we grew up together in the same. Actually, he's my next door neighbor.
Wow.
And we always done different business ventures together. When we were kids, we used to sell scrap metal together. We used to wash windshields, things like that. Whatever kids could do, legally
just
to
keep hustling, to get some money.
Hustling.
Yeah.
So we just decided to go into the hat business, making these custom hats that we decided to make. An idea we got from Harlem, and we brought it to Queens and started selling them. And it kind of took off from there. We started selling these hats. We started doing okay for where we were at, and we decided to brand them with the name FUBU, and it kind of grew from there.
How much were you selling the hats for?
If I remember correctly, the hats were $10.
Okay.
$10. We were making an even number so people have to make change and things like that. So I think because David used to sew, so we went and got the fabric. He sewed the hats. And we go out on the weekends to sell them.
Wow.
So a hat probably cost us about maybe, I'd say with fabric and time, maybe $2 or $3.
Okay.
So we made nice little return on those. And we did that for a couple of years, just selling these hats.
Wow.
We became pretty known for these hats.
And from people just wearing the hats, was it more of the youth, the teens wearing the hats? Were there adults wearing the hats? Because that was basically you all's personal models that you had that was just showing the hat itself.
Right. And
then, of course, people asking, where'd you get that hat? And then it brought more clientele towards you.
What more business?
Yes.
Well, what happened, the hat itself got very popular.
Okay.
It was a tie top hat. Everyone in the late 80s, early 90s were wearing it. And to make ourselves different from all the other people that were selling the hats, we thought of the name FUBU.
Okay.
And once we started to do that and started to brand ourselves, then people knew where to look for us and kind of ask for us and find our hats as opposed to anyone else's.
Okay.
So then we it kind of got saturated on the street, so we said, listen, if it sells here, it would sell overseas, it would sell other places. So we didn't have the internet that we have now. So what we decided to do was create an ad and put in Right On magazines and these hip hop magazines. And a lot of kids from other countries just started calling us. We started a nice little mail order business.
Okay. Wow. So you guys started with the hats. After the hats, what was your next accessory, or shall I say your next wear?
Our next things, we tried to just go on and build off of the name that we started to establish for ourselves. So we started, the obvious thing was T-shirts next.
Okay.
So we went into the T-shirt business with the hats to kind of match the two. And we kind of took it from there for as long as me and him could, because our knowledge of the fashion business was limited.
Okay.
And we did that for quite some time. And I forgot how we stopped doing it, but I guess as kids you started just moving on to other things.
Right.
And we started promoting parties and doing all kind of other stuff. And we the business kind of died down. And Jay, who's another partner of ours, Jay Martin.
Okay.
Jay was always into fashion.
Okay.
He went to high school with us, and he's that kid that comes to school with a suit on every day and a briefcase. And he was that type of kid.
Wow.
So we Jay went to the military, and when we stopped the business, so about a year later, Jay came out the military and asked us, what are you guys doing with the business? And we told him, wasn't into it too much. And Jay was actually going to FIT at the time after the military.
Okay.
And he decided to invest some money that he got from the military back into the business, so we kind of started it back up after that.
Okay. Were you ever a model back in the day?
For the business, yeah.
For the business?
Yeah, it's free work, free labor.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Now, I was, for the business I did, but not professionally.
Not professionally. Okay. So when was the first fashion show that actually took place to showcase FUBU?
If you're from New York, you know Ralph McDaniels.
Okay.
He still has a great show, Video Music Box, which is it was on the one of the PBS stations in New York for years.
Okay.
Anyway, Ralph used to do this once a year event called Fat Fashion.
Okay.
And Fat Fashion was our first fashion show. But this fashion show was important to us because at that time, the who's who of hip hop, of New York, of any surrounding area would come to this show.
Okay.
So if you was in this show, best believe when you leave there, someone's gonna, you was gonna be pretty well known.
Okay.
In our small community. So we did that fashion show, and we started doing those every year, and that really became like our once a year come out party.
Okay.
Where we show people our new styles, our new whatever different things we're doing. And at those times, we weren't in stores, so we wasn't like doing fashion shows for retail.
Okay.
We was basically doing it for the show, doing it so people leave there, it's word of mouth. So we had a lot of young designers working for us. So they do these crazy things that you never see in stores, but they're good for showpieces. Okay. And that was the whole thing, how outlandish you can get at these shows.
Right.
And we did pretty good. I wouldn't say we were the best, but we were.
It was decent enough.
We were the most aggressive.
Okay.
So people kind of look forward to us because we always did some edgy, crazy shit.
Okay.
So that's our first introduction to the actual fashion world.
Okay.
Before that, it was basically just T-shirts and stuff.
And of course, it was a great help to have LL a part of this as well.
Yeah, absolutely. But L came a lot longer, a lot later on.
Than that in the game.
Not that we knew L, because matter of fact, going back to him, when it came to like the hip hop industry, as far as not just the music but the business side of it, we used to go on tour with LL.
Okay.
We'd not necessarily overseas or West Coast, but anytime he was on the East Coast, we would travel with him up and down 95 yada. So being with him kind of exposed me to the business side of hip hop.
Okay.
Before, I was just a fan of the music.
Right.
And once I got backstage and started seeing managers and stage hands and these people just actually in the business of hip hop making money doing this, that's when I got the bug, realizing that, I can see myself in this industry somewhere.
Okay.
And fashion was that way for us to, get our foot in the door.
That's the whole networking circle right there, because you have everyone on every different position and in every level that you can basically talk to. Like you said, there was the managers, of course, there was the stylists too.
Right, all those things.
Everybody was backstage.
Even people at press, everyone.
Right.
All these people came up with us in that industry. As we came on, they became president of the Vibe magazine and so at BET. But we all started in that really like that real low beginning of this whole business of the hip hop industry.
Okay, like the little kiddie pool.
Yeah,
right.
Like
Yeah, before you could actually swim, you got to start right here. Okay, and get
but
your feet
it was exciting
wet.
because it was because before then it was like you look at when you look at flashy and who you want to be like, it was always the hustle in the street.
Right.
You know, he got the nice car, he got the fly gear. But when we go to these industry situations, these businesses, you see the same look, the same attitude, the same all that, but they were doing something legal.
Okay.
So I realized that I can get with this. This is my speed.
Right. And it's positive.
And it's positive.
So nobody's gonna catch a case and something's gonna come back and then we gotta shut it all the way down.
Right. So that was a big attraction to us. We could still live that exciting lifestyle without the risk of losing it all.
Okay. You know, I have a question because I'm a teacher part-time. I teach driving school. So I have a lot of different students that come and go in my class, all different ages. And these millennials today, I'm sick of them. I can't.
Why you say that?
I just, it's the way they dress. It's the way they wear their clothes. It's what they think is stylish and it's not. It's a little insulting, I think, to look at.
Really?
Yeah, I do. Yes,
okay,
really.
Okay.
And, I have a little boy and he's 2, but still, I can't imagine to see him out wearing his pants, like not even on his waist. There's no belt. It's not stylish at all. It looks dirty. It looks unkept, and I don't like it. And when I think of these millennials today, because of course I think they're the generation, they feel entitled to a lot, but they inspire a lot too. They are the biggest promoter, especially when it comes to urban wear, and it's like they're trend setting to look a mess. When I look at the millennials today and their fashion, as I air quote that, and their style, what frustrates you about it? When you look at these teens today, from back then to now, the style.
I don't know. I see two sides of it.
You do?
As a kid, my parents was on me about all kind of stuff. So I kind of understand. The more we get aggravated with it, the more they're gonna do it. It's not that doesn't help. But I have 3 sons too, so I understand exactly what you're saying.
Okay.
But with that being said, I think the thing that really annoys me is probably like you said, the lack of coordination, the lack of just looking well kept. But like I said, it's a give and take thing. I understand where they're coming from,
right?
And I try to be patient with them because it's just it's a way they express themselves. No matter how I disagree with it,
right?
I know most of them go past that stage and they move on,
right?
So I try to be patient,
right?
But I do understand your frustration.
I mean, and I understand. It's a growing process that they have to understand that they have to get on to a different level, especially to be successful. I mean. Not trying to, color code everything, but as for African Americans, especially the youth, they're looked at harder than anything, especially when it comes to going on job interviews and looking as if they deserve the position.
Yeah, that's a problem. They think you can take what you do in the street
exactly
and go into other channels and think you're gonna people are gonna accept that then you run into a problem. But if a kid can know the difference and adjust itself and act accordingly, then I don't see no problem when they're around their friends and fitting in.
Right.
But when they know they gotta go to work, it's a different situation. You gotta handle yourself that way.
Right.
So it depends on the child, and I guess even what they're taught and they know to know how to adjust to the circumstances.
And I think that's true, and I think it also definitely comes from guidance within from the parents to definitely let them know. A lot of them don't have
guidance, to be honest with you. It's unfortunately. There's just I meet a lot of young men, they just don't know.
They don't.
They just don't know.
And especially if you have younger parents who don't know.
Right.
Then it's like this is all they know.
Right.
Of course, we have a lot of different designers out here. We have, of course, our youth, our people within our African Americans trying to make something good, make something work, like FUBU, for us, by us. I've noticed that a lot of designers, like I will just throw some people out there, like Hilfiger.